Right now in our country, and especially in Ohio, the opioid epidemic is not new news. We're aware of how many people are dying, the addiction issues at hand, and the problems it's creating. But sometimes I don't think people are aware of how bad it really is. And the problems and the destruction is very deep rooted, and especially here in Ohio. We are literally right now on the cusp of losing an entire generation to addiction. With the amount of people struggling with addiction that are teen years or early 20s, and also the amount of kids that are brought up in those environments that are, you could almost say, set up for failure on so many different levels. How does a child have a chance to really grow up and be a powerful, influential, successful member of society when they are growing up in a home that is just obliterated with addiction problems? In a recent article from the Columbus Dispatch in December of 2018, they talked about this and they cited some statistics. It says that in 2018, the numbers hit 16,154 kids in foster care. That's an increase of 28% in the last 5 years. It says that the caseworkers that are in that field doing that work, in 2016 and 17, 1 in 4 quit. They could not handle what it was they were seeing, the stress levels. They said that half of caseworkers in the state of Ohio have stress levels so high that they would qualify for PTSD. And so I say to you, what is it that you can do to get involved? The problem is not getting better. I see this, and so many people keep using the phrase right now for this problem that is continuing to grow, the addiction that has a powerful but negative ripple effect sweeping through communities, especially rural Ohio. Kids growing up in situations where they're set up to fail, kids whose parents die at a young age, kids who see their parents die, overdose in front of them. How about kids that are not eating? How about kids that have been in the same dirty diapers for days? Kids growing up in this environment because of what addiction is doing. And not everybody is called to jump into the fight against addiction to help kids or to be a counselor or to be something, but I believe there is something every single one of us can do and be intentional and step into the fight and in some way, shape, or form, trust God to bring a solution in and just be available and say, yes, I'll step into this in some way, shape, or form, whether it's my time, finances, my energy, in some way, shape, or form, saying, I will step into this and be of service to help end this problem. And I want to introduce to you a friend of mine who has done just that, has intentionally stepped into a place of saying, yes, I'm gonna enter into the fight and I'm gonna be of service, I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna choose to love, and I'm gonna choose to let God flow through me and the people around me to change the lives of children. For the last 7 years has impacted hundreds and hundreds of kids, changed their lives, impacted their families, and changed the trajectory on their life by simply just saying, yes, I'm gonna step up and help.
I think it's especially amazing that the Lord brought this vision into my mind about open doors because as an intervention specialist, he knows it's near and dear to my heart. You know, I was one of those kids that came from a family where people didn't go to college, and it was one significant person who said to me, what do you mean you're not going to college? You're gonna go to college. And she made me take the ACT, and she encouraged me in a way that none of my family could do. And I so appreciate that to this day because she took me from poverty and she inspired me to go get more education. And now, as an intervention specialist, I am actually, I say to my husband every day, I put on a cape and I go in and I save kids, and Open Doors is just an extension of that so that I can even do that even more in the kingdom. And so it's been a beautiful journey in that the Lord's heart matches up with my heart, and so together we partner on that. And I just love it that He's honored me in every way in doing that. I have been a school teacher for 18 years in Ohio, and you know, when I look back over my career, I have noticed a huge increase in the amount of kids who need another significant person. And what I mean by that is this, that, 10 years ago, I might have known one or two grandparents who were raising children, or a family caregiver who was raising children. But now I know a dozen families who are taking care of children who've been affected in some way by addiction. And the Lord really loves to restore family to these kids, and that's what He's using Open Doors to do. So you might be thinking about, like, what is my call to action? I would say not everybody is called to be the director of an Open Doors, but I would say that everybody is called to love. So your love will look different than mine, and that's really, really awesomely okay. But we all know that the Lord calls to each of us. And so just that stepping out and saying yes to whatever He's called you to, like I knew the children. I didn't know what Open Doors would look like. I do know that Open Doors is to be way, way more than it is right now. And I am just faithfully expectant and hopeful and waiting because I know the Lord's still breathing on it. I know that because I ask Him every season. I'm like, Lord, Open Doors, season 7. Yes, all right, Lord, let's go, let's do this. And so, when you hear the Lord's voice, He's really just looking for a yes. He's not looking for a one-year plan. When Open Doors started, I just knew I needed to say yes and go and literally just open doors and let children come in. And now, as I've watched these kids, these beautiful families who come in, some of these kids who've been, who have had addiction just completely wreck their life, I now see them come in as the leaders that are coming beside other kids who really need that extra love too. And so I've just seen it kind of explode exponentially, because that's what the Lord does. He takes something small, He breathes on it, and it becomes something really big and amazing. And so He does have a heavenly strategy for ways to love on children and families. And so your call may look different, but just say yes and just step out in faith and go and just do something. Just go, give your time, give yourself, give your food, give your money, and God will surely bless it.